like a gear turns slow, a silent scream, the wires hum low. Behind the veil, what we know. Clockwork revelation, shadows unwind, the rhythm of reason, the pulse of wheels align in endless rows, a whisper of logic where the chaos flows, the heart of the machine, it glows. Every piece, every line, fed a citadel design, clockwork revelation, shadows unwind, the rhythm of reason, the pulse of
Hello, 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 hello. How you guys doing? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. I hope you guys are doing good. Back after a long time. Back after I think a really, really long time. Um, Either ways, I mean, back is back. Who gives a damn, right? So, today we have a lot of things to be discussed. Okay, a lot of things to be discussed. Okay, um because there are a lot of things going on, you feel me? Like, there are so many things that have happened since the last time I came live, and now I just think that philosophy needs to be streamed. I mean, not just philosophy, but psychology, philosophy, human behavior, human nature should be live streamed. The last relevancy I found with live streaming philosophy and psychology is literally Joe. Other than Joe, I don't remember the last time someone actually took philosophy and psychology seriously as a streaming career. And I was like, okay, I'm good at that. I love watching streams. I love doing streams. I love talking with people. I need money. So let's stream. And that's how I came to the point that let's do philosophical and psychological streams all together in one, with a bit of entertainment, with a bit of comedy, with a bit of commentary, everything in one plate. Now, today we have bigger topics to discuss. Okay, we are not going to randomly discuss some uh, bullshit topic or some brain rot. Maybe we can, but we want more understanding regarding how we think, what we think, and why we think. Like the biggest question at the end is, why do we even think? And then comes the question that why do we feel emotions? And then comes the question why we feel hurt with those emotions. And so there are multiple questions against us. And the thing that I have found is we usually don't ask these questions. because we are afraid that what if I ask these questions and the world stands against me. I mean, maybe you don't ask these kind of questions. It's not usual to ask these kind of questions. Let me just check the stream. Yep, everything's going good. Shit is going good. Okay, 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 okay. So that's my point. Usually, we don't ask these questions. There are a lot of questions around us which we never ask because we consider them as the reality itself. Like, have you ever asked, what is it like to be emotionless? Like, what if I don't feel happy? What if I don't feel sad? What if I don't feel miserable? And what if I don't feel excited? Like, what would the world be after that point? Like, does emotion and this emotion complexity which we have, the uses of brain in a way which we connect a lot, which we socialize a lot, does this psychology play a huge role in how a human has developed till this day? 110% maybe yes. Because the point is not in what do I say? It's not relying anywhere on the things you consider as real. The point is, do you ask questions enough to even think that the things you assume are real or not? Like, how do I say this? Have you ever asked that question, which is what I'm thinking? Like, what if I never get angry? What if I never feel happy? Like, let's say someone kills one of my most favorable relatives here and there, one of my very favorite person in life in general. What if someone ends them, finishes them in a miserable event, right? What should be the next potential move which I have? Well, take the revenge, go to court and seek for justice. What if I tell you I don't have the emotion in me to seek justice? I don't have the emotion in me to seek revenge. I don't have that redemption emotion in me. I don't need judgment. I don't need fairness. Then what will be the consequence? Because every movie, every satisfactory event in your life is because you want satisfaction. So you don't want revenge. You want satisfaction that comes after revenge. You know what I'm saying? So you don't ask enough questions to realize that the facts which you have considered as the laying reality are not facts, are actually something which you have built upon. So you think that justice needs to be served, but you never ask, why does justice needs to be served? Why do humans need justice in the first place? You never ask these questions. That's my point. Asking enough questions to realize that things you consider as facts are not the reality, are not the facts. They are layers of your mindset, people's mindset, humans' mindset, and the way human thought society should be. And that's the way they started this entire loop of chain of events. um and that's it. So that's my point. The thing which I want to do with these streams is to understand that, and help others understand, is that if you ask enough questions, if you try to just ask one more question to the thing which you consider normally as true or normally as your reality, would that still be the same? You know, when you judge everything and ask questions regarding every little thing in your life, would your life still be the same? Does it make your life miserable if you ask more questions, or does it make your life more fulfilling? Does it make your life more seeking and more sort of, what do I say? Is it liberating event if I ask more questions, or is it like a restricting event if I ask more questions? Um. Anyways, so that's the motto of the stream. That's the motto of these channels. That's the motto of me as a streamer. Okay, to enter the root of questioning in your head, no matter whatever you see, no matter how favorable the situation is, no matter how much heroic the moment is. I want you to ask the questions enough for you to realize whether do you even need heroic event at that point. So usually, let's say in a controversy on YouTube or Instagram or in a scandal where some actors are involved, you usually favor someone or something. Either you hate them, or either you like them, or either you defend them, or something along those lines. Okay, so you stay in that zone that I support this guy, you consider them the true one already. My point is to ask enough questions to reach to a conclusion with enough evidence, with enough questioning, that now you can actually see the situation more clearly than you were seeing before. Because we humans are usually covered up with multiple layers of influence and emotions. So anytime you think that we are judging something as it is, it's wrong. You are judging it based on how your childhood was. You are judging it based on how people have treated you up till now. You're judging it based on the place you have stayed and the people you have met. You are judging on various other biases rather than judging it purely on the fact of evidence and questioning. My point is to one, ask the question of why do I want to judge this situation? Second is to realize that if I judge this entire thing, I should judge it very clearly. Okay. Now, the question that arises in my head is why do I seek for justification? Why do I want justice? Why do I want to judge things? Why do I want things to be right? Why do I want things to be wrong? Why do I want the wrong to be punished and the right to be rewarded? Why do I want this system? Because I used to question this a lot. That why do I want this? Why do humans want this? Because that is how humans developed a functioning society. Humans realized that there was this emotions, there was this nature which human had in them. As I told, human maybe is seeking for a satisfactory event after revenge, but they name it the redemption arc. And so they love redemption. They love if someone suffers and then strikes back and then takes their revenge. Humans love that entire story, that plot line. And the earlier ancestors understood this event, understood that humans seek something which is related to their emotions. You don't seek justice because justice is very different. You seek something which satisfies an emotion inside you. You know what I'm saying? So it is not as simple as you understand, but it's also not as complex as you understand. What I'm trying to say is you seek revenge not because you want revenge. You want the satisfactory event that comes when you have taken the revenge. Okay. Now, uh, the point which I'm trying to again and again make is I want everyone, me, you, all of us, to ask questions. That's it. Basic questions. Like if we are going through controversy, if we are going through a drama, if we are going through any kind of little thought in our head, I want us to ask more questions. And you might say, Ankh, this is like the final boss of me being overthinker. That it's not. Because I think when you ask more questions, that's the biggest factor of reducing overthinking. You know what I'm saying? Like if let's say you understand why humans react to a certain situation in a certain way. So why does a human get angry? Let's say you find an answer to that situation. Next time someone gets angry on you, are you going to behave the same way? No. Like let me tell you something. When a human gets happy now, I think that that's some sort of serotonin, oxytocin, or maybe even, excited and happy. So it must be serotonin, it must be oxytocin if they are emotional. It must be dopamine if they are like, super energetic and happy and in the euphoric feeling. Then they have to be releasing dopamine in their body. So I realize that this is a complex creature, but at the same time, it's really simple creature. Like if it gets angry, I know that there's this shit going on in his body. Uh, if I don't know the shit that's going on in his body, I know the kind of development he has had. So the childhood he has gone through, the adulthood he had, the people who he was surrounded by, I know that once he gets angry on me. Now it's not a flex. It's not that, oh, I understand humans. It's that I understand humans, and so I don't overthink at that point. Like when you know that why someone's getting angry on you, you don't go at your home and think 10 times that why was the guy shouting on me, because you know why was the guy shouting on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the point of seeking more knowledge and asking more questions at first. You ask more questions, you, knowledge isn't handed out to you directly. You know what I'm saying? But if you ask more questions, maybe you seek some knowledge, you seek some wisdom through those questions. Did you start to see through those layers of emotion which you're covered up with, through the layers of influence you're covered up with? Now, what do you think? Supporting Ronaldo or Messi is something that you do mentally, is something that you have chosen physically? No. I mean, there are a lot of factors involved as you, as a person, to choose Messi or Ronaldo. So it's not completely about whether Messi is better or Ronaldo is better. It's about who you prefer, and it depends on how you are as a human. I know I'm taking like, this shit is not deep, but it is the deep. That it's not about even Ronaldo or Messi. It's about who you chose when you were a child. You were watching football. If Ronaldo scored first goal against someone, and if the cheer were going crazy for Ronaldo, you become a Ronaldo fan then. You know what I'm saying? And then slowly, you started to realize that there's rivalry, but you support Ronaldo, so now you have to stand by Ronaldo. And so you never check the facts against Messi. You just hate Messi. That's what I'm saying. So there are a lot of prejudiced judgments you have in your life. Like you just hate Messi, but you never know why you hate Messi. You never know the reason. Messi is such a great player. Ronaldo is also such a great player. Why do you even create a rivalry? But you do. And the point is, if you know that I'm just doing this for fun, no, people are like legit on different level of shit when it comes to Ronaldo and Messi. So that's what I'm saying. There are levels of influence, emotions, and so many events that has occurred in your life which leads to very simple decision in your life. So as far as I understand that human is a complex creature, okay, a very complex creature. And physically, you might understand what a human is, even though it's tough, even though there are some bigger questions which we haven't tackled physically. Okay, like cancer, like some diseases like HIV, AIDS still don't have a fucking reply, means that physically we have excelled a lot. There's a little bit left. But I think emotionally, I think psychologically, there's a huge and vast difference in our understanding of what a human is and how a human is. Even though we have done a lot of researches, a lot of experiments, we'll discuss throughout these streams, you'll understand how much scientists have wasted years, time, money, gathered the correct people, created the conditions, did the experiments, and still failed to analyze something bigger. So, I don't know. I don't know if we should ask more questions, but I still prefer asking more questions over believing in something randomly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just randomly believe in God. I just randomly believe that Ronaldo is better. I prefer asking questions. If someone comes up to me and says that LeBron James is the best basketball player, I ask, why is he? Shouldn't Michael Jordan be that? Shouldn't Kobe be that? Or shouldn't some random ass name like Reggie Miller be that? Why is LeBron James the best? And then you start up to come with, and you know, the best form of research tool for any smallest decision I take, I love to see how humans think on both sides. So whenever there's a debate of Messi versus Ronaldo, I love to go on Reddit. Okay, because Reddit represents real people from both the sides showing their point of view. And as I told you, when someone gets angry on you, and if you know why they are angry, situation is way more cooler because you are judging that entire sequence of events in front of you, in the dialogue in front of you, you're judging it. And so it's very crazy when there's Messi versus Ronaldo, and I go on to Twitter, I go on to Reddit, and people are legit presenting points against them. And then I judge the situation. Okay, according to this facts, this much goals, this many assets, and this much time, or something like that, you know. And then on the other hand, this much for Messi and this much for Ronaldo. Um, Seems like Messi is better, practically. And then people divide into fandoms. Fandoms like Iron Man versus Captain America, Batman versus Superman, um, Ronaldo versus Messi. Like, the worlds have been divided into two. But my point is, why to one, divide yourself? Why to choose a fandom? One. Second, if you have chose a fandom, was it practical or was it influential? Because to be honest, I choose Batman because of looks are crazy for Batman. Lore is crazy for Batman. I just love Batman. Now, many choose Batman because they think they can be Batman because Batman has no powers. And so they hate Superman because Superman has powers, which they can never have. They cannot fly, they cannot shoot lasers, they cannot see X-ray. But Batman is natural. He's just rich. If I be rich, I can be Batman. And the relatability factor plays a huge role in why you love Batman. I personally love Batman because of the entire looks and the way his suit is. I love Batman for that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there are a lot of things which just naturally pre-assume in your life and you never ask questions for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are a lot of things which you just assume to be real. So that's what I said. Like, first time, let's say you see uh Ronaldo for the first time and he scores in front of you and everybody starts cheering, then you are a supporter of Ronaldo. Shit goes like that. How do I say that? Who the fuck is that? Wait, somebody chatted, bro. Okay, these are fucking bots. Yeah. So that's my point. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to understand that you need to ask more questions in order to realize that you are not the person you think you are. You are so much ruled out by your emotions, subtly, and you are so much ruled out by the influences you had throughout your life. Even the smallest decisions, very smallest, pretty much subtle decisions which you make daily, day to day life, whether should I eat that food, whether should I cheat on my diet or not, whether should I go to gym or not, all of these little subtle decisions. You might say, Ankit, it's not that deep, but it's deep. You know what I'm saying? It's actually that deep. So, yeah, factors matter. These factors actually change and overrule sometimes your critical thinking and your cognitive side of efforts for thinking. And it just is that, bro. So, yeah. Okay, now we have a few videos that we can watch today. And I think it would be really awesome for us to watch a few videos here together, all of us. Um, it'd be pretty awesome to watch a few videos. And yeah, tell me how this shit goes because it's my first stream. I don't know what should I speak. I don't know what should I not speak. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the bit of a green area, gray area, matter of fact. So hey, let me just listen to myself. Huh. Right. Let's move on. Um. Okay. So I'm now presenting my screen. Yep. You guys can see that. Uh-huh. You guys can actually see that. Okay. That's good. That's good. Um. Wait a minute. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. To be fair, looks good. Okay. So I wanted to talk. Um, wait, my mic, macOS sound capture is good. Mics are good. Everything is good, probably. So wait, let's just try this, okay? There's my watch later. Okay, here. I wanted to see this video because it's going super viral right now. I have seen everybody go through this video. Punk is going viral, by the way, for being a CIA agent. He's going viral right now. So, okay, let's just see. Does CIA make people disappear? Double video. Okay. Okay. Does CIA, for the YouTube video, I have to do this. Does CIA makes people disappear? CIA spy reveals. W video. Okay. I have seen this video get a lot viral within this few days, few weeks. I have seen clips of it. I have seen videos reacting to it. So I saved this video for us to watch on stream. We could watch it together, in a sense. So let's watch it. Let's see how this is actually.
Through our phones and laptop cameras. Yes, I hate to say it. They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off.
Now, wait a minute. Okay, fact check. Fact check. Let's do a quick fact check. Okay. Let's do a quick fact check. Fact check. Okay. Um, Can your smart TV's speaker be converted into mic? Because audio capturing should be different. No, you typically cannot directly use uh, no driver software support, which but they can install a software. Speakers and microphones are built for opposite functions exactly. I think components work in reverse. Principle called reciprocity. Consumer TV speakers are not designed or wired to be mic. So I don't know what the fuck is Ang speaking, but I think he has a point. So let's just believe it right now. You know what I'm saying, guys? Let's just believe that Ank is saying the truth. Okay. Okay. Honesty box W.
Hello, I'm John Kiriakou. I'm a former CIA counterterrorism officer and former senior investigator for the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, and I'm here today to answer questions from the Honesty Box.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is, what did the CIA actually do? There are several answers to that question. What the CIA is supposed to do, what it is legally tasked with doing, is very simply to recruit spies, to steal secrets, and then to analyze those secrets to give the president and other senior policymakers the best information with which they can make policy. Now, in real life, it's not that simple. The CIA does whatever the president tells it to do. That could be to overthrow foreign governments. It could be to implement covert action programs, to influence the foreign media, to even kill people. It just depends on who the president is and what policy he wants to implement. What skills make a good agent?
Hmm.
You might be surprised by the answer, actually. The CIA, when it recruits spies, when it
Mm-hmm.
recruits operations officers, doesn't necessarily look for the big, buff guy who works out, every day or 6 days a week. They look for people who have sociopathic tendencies.
What the
What are
fuck?
sociopaths? Sociopaths are impossible to control because they have no conscience. They blow right through a polygraph exam, but they won't take orders. People who have sociopathic tendencies do react to a polygraph. They do experience regret or remorse. They will respond to directives or
Hmm.
orders.
So they need controllable human beings with lesser emotions so that they can be controlled. Douglas. Wait, to prove my point a bit better, what does a sociopath? Now, what uh does being a sociopath might feel like? Let's use the deep thinking model for this one. Okay. So, if I am a sociopath, how do I look at the world? How do I perceive emotions? And just simply, how do I look at the things? Okay. Let's just have a look. This is the profound blah 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 blah. Understanding the internal blah blah blah, more accurately described as an antisocial personality disorder. Bruh, bruh. I think each and every random kid who is doom scrolling right now has antisocial personality disorders. I ain't gonna lie. I have it too because I'm relatively more online than talk to people. Wait a second, let's read more. Requires moving beyond stereotypes. It's crucial to remember that this is a clinical diagnosis, not a choice or a moral fear. Okay, come on now, bro. Don't use AI language. And experience vary greatly. Okay. Okay. Emotional experience, shallow affect, and missing nuance. Dog. It might feel like watching the world through a pane of sandproof glass. You can see emotional scenes playing out. You understand them intellectually, but you don't feel the vibration. W sociopathic tendency. So I can see someone cry. Maybe I can relate to them, but mhm, I am connecting with them. I cannot. Usually, you know why humans feel the emotion more? Like more than how much they should? I think the reason is why a human feels more of an emotion is because they relate to it. So let's say a person loses a person, or let's say a person gets through breakout or breakup, sorry. Okay. Now, the reason why you sympathize with that guy more is because somewhere, someday, you feel like you can also go through a breakup and it might be as painful as this guy. So you sympathize with them. You know what I'm saying? So if someone gets hate, one of your favorite people gets hate, you feel more relatable to them. And that's why you question and you put yourself in their shoes and think like that. I think sociopaths don't have that tendency to put themselves in other shoes and think like they're going through that pain because they can understand the pain intellectually but don't feel the vibrations enough. And the reason they don't feel the vibration is enough is because they cannot put themselves in other shoes. You feel me what I'm saying? Like when you see someone getting destroyed, you feel like I can also get destroyed someday. So I feel sympathize with this guy because I feel I relate with the pain of this guy. If it makes sense, if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. So primary emotions like anger, irritation, boredom, or momentary excitement are strong and easily accessible. But deeper, more complex social emotions like empathy, profound guilt, deep love, or lasting remorse. I think they are talking about James Bond, except Vesper Lind. Yeah. Other than Vesper Lind, James Bond never fell in deep love until he realized he had a kid. And then he boomed on that little island. So, yeah, I understand what Ank is trying to say that they need someone with sociopathic tendency, someone who looks at emotions differently. I mean, they need someone to connect with a human, but not connect to the point where they become them. So, example, you are in a covert operation in the terrorism side. A person sends you over there, CIA sends you over there, agency sends you over there as an agent to infiltrate, stay among them. So you will need those tendencies to connect with them. But at the same time, you need consciousness enough to revert back. So, us normal people, if we join the terrorism side, let's say for a month or two, we become them. But as a covert entire agent, or this entire process, you need to go there, you need to stay with them, you need to be relatable to them, but at the same time, you need to realize that you don't belong in their side. And that's why I think they look for people with sociopathic tendency, but at the same time, not sociopaths. Okay. Because at one point, I think sociopaths would stop caring about you as the agency you send them. Okay. Let's read a bit more because this is interesting. Boredom is central, crushing force. Okay. It's not just I have nothing to do, but it's pervasive. Okay. Good English. Good English. Pervasive meaning that is present in all parts of something. Okay. Intolerable emptiness that feels like an itch in the brain. Much behavior is driven by the need to stimulate oneself to escape. Bro, my god, this is so me, man. This is so me. Like, I choose philosophy, I choose psychology, not because I fell in love with understanding humans. I was literally bored, and I was bored of people saying me shit. So I took a look at philosophy, and then I loved that shit because that connected me to a inborable task, something that I could waste my time so much into that I forget about the things that are actually going on. So it's crazy how much relatable it is to me, and it has to be relatable to a lot of you guys. You know what I'm saying? So, damn. Okay, social mechanics, operating a human interface. Social interaction can feel like learning and running a complex software program. You observe, memorize, mimic the emotional responses of others. You learn that smiling here, a concerned tone here, an apology in the situation gets the desired result. Companionship, sex, bro, they need, obviously. This is like James Bond 101. Like you need to be a part of them, but you don't have to be them. And to be a part of them, you need to have a very clear understanding of how emotions go through. And the reason is, if you understand how emotions go through, as that's the thing, ask more questions. If you know what emotions are like, if you understand that anger is something which is going through the other person, and if you understand emotions, you can tackle that to get the desired result you want. And that's what I feel about this entire situation, is that I think they need these kind of people who can be companion, who can have sex, who can do whatever it needs to get their desired result. At the same time, stay committed to their agency or CIO or corporation that actually sent them there in the first place. Ah, that's W. Wait a minute, let me look at the chat. Is everything going good? I think thing is going good. Bitrate is a bit low, I ain't gonna lie. Somebody said hello. We need someone to who has last word over us. God will judge us. Um, no. Yeah, we need someone, obviously, but that is the God. Sorry, I can't look more into it. Um, we look more because this will like take a lot out of me. So, wait, why is the stream lagging? I understand that. Okay, streams are lagging for some reason. How does it happen? Like my main stream is literally YouTube, and YouTube is lagging, but Kick and Twitch are going good. Wow. Wow. So yeah. So who is that? Who was that? We need someone who has the last word over us, and God will judge us. Well, the point is, you need that. You need a God to judge you. You need someone to have that overall bigger justice, and you feel the need to have that. But how real is it? How real is it that there's a guy on a floating saucer, or there's a guy who can survive, a guy whose blood can be wine, uh, Allah who asks you to come in that dream and then ask you to sacrifice goats? Like, how real does that sound to you? Or how much does it sound to you as a fantasy? Is the question. Okay. So it's not about what we need or not. We obviously need that shit. We need God to judge us. That's the reason why God is there, to keep us sane, to keep us moral in a way. Because moral standpoint, having a lawful standpoint, having a just standpoint is where the society has developed itself, is how we have become today who we have become. You know what I'm saying? So that's the point. Um, yeah. So, yep, going back to our original video. Um, okay, I hope you guys can see. Wait, we were reading this, right? So, yeah, concerned tone, there, apology, there. So, I understand. These guys understand emotions, and they know how to respond and reply to a certain emotion so that they get their desired results. This is the exact type of a person you want as a CIA covert agent who goes and does shit for you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it makes complete sense that they need sociopathic tendencies in a human, because sociopath, obviously, if this is the way a human is built, you won't be able to control them. So, you need someone who is controllable enough and who also has these tendencies to look at emotion in a very strategic manner. Okay. This is often called cognitive empathy. Exactly. W statement. Understanding what others feels without effective empathy, which is sharing or caring about the feeling. W. This is what I'm exactly saying. These guys understand emotions, but they don't stand in their shoes and feel the pain. That's why they don't connect. So they don't have effective empathy, but they have cognitive empathy. So they understand emotions, but they don't react to emotions out of being emotional. They react to emotion very strategically to get the response they want. That's a W move right there. That's what I'm saying. Wait, is the stream still facing some issue? Um, yeah, I don't know why is that happening, but stream is facing a lot of issues right now. I don't know why that's happening, bro, but stream is facing some issues. Either ways, let's
I'll
go
give you an
more into the
example.
video.
When I first was recruited by the CIA, I was asked in a group of new hires what we would do if we got a cable from CIA headquarters ordering us to collect information on the Indonesian economy. You recruit the Indonesian economic secretary, you make him your best friend, you spend money on him, your wives become friends, you vacation together, but you learn that he is just not recruitable. So what do? Well, one of my colleagues said you double down, work the case another 6 months, and hope for the best. A second colleague said maybe you work it through your wives, maybe your wife can convince his wife to give you the information. I raised my hand and I said, you break into the Indonesian embassy and you steal it. And the instructor said, "That's exactly what you do." That's a sociopathic tendency. What's the coolest piece of spy tech you ever got to use? There's kind of
I
a
don't know
weird
about
secret
that,
about
but
spy
like,
tech,
okay.
and it is that 95% of it is purchased from Amazon.com. Seriously. Because it is cheaper and it is quicker just to go online and buy it and then use it operationally than it is to invent it from scratch. The coolest piece of spy tech that I ever used was it was a leather briefcase. I just went into the local marketplace in Pakistan and bought it. I think it cost the equivalent of like $10. And over the course of 3 days, one of our technical officers pulled the threads out of it, installed a wire all the way around the briefcase, which could act as a listening device, and then packed the area around the wire with these little teeny tiny batteries that I had never seen before. And then he sewed the whole thing close again. So I walked into a meeting with my little briefcase. The bad guy took the briefcase from me, opened it up, looked through it. It didn't have anything in it because it was all sewn into the lining. And we sat there and had the meeting while my colleagues half a mile away were able to listen to the entire thing. It was very cool. Does the CIA listen through our phones
Bro,
and laptop
the
cameras?
amount of intelligence these guys have, like, not intelligent intelligence, but intelligence, IQ, crazy, man. Crazy. This is crazy stuff. I understand that these are like the best people of a country to do that shit, but still, it's crazy.
Cameras. Yes, I hate to say it. There was a dramatic leak in 2017 that the CIA came to call the Vault 7 disclosures. Gigabytes worth of documents leaked by a CIA technology engineer. What he told us was that the CIA can intercept anything from anyone, number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car through the car's embedded computer. To do what? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself, and make it look like an accident.
Okay. Is this real? Like, if I own a fucking 2009 Honda, which is refurbished like 2 or 3 times, went through like 15 services, like, I think this might be true. But for high tech cars, which are run on batteries, electric cars, have self drives, ADAS, or something along those lines, I think they can be controlled. But like, you have a fucking Honda Civic, a fucking Toyota Hilux 10,000, they're like 10 years old. It cannot be handled, like this, like machinically. Nah. But yeah, if you have modern tech, more than modern, like even if your car has ADAS, I think they can control it. I think if your car has if it's Tesla, bro, it's GG's. Um, but any car with a bit of self-driving capabilities, even ADAS is basically it helps you drive better type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to keep your hand on steering and it assists you a bit on that. So maybe ADAS cars can also be done like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like a fucking tractor or a truck, which is like 10 years old. Nah, you ain't controlling that shit. So yeah. Modern tech and modern cars with new availabilities of tech to control your car, I think that can be handled. So it is true, but I don't think it's completely true.
They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off. God knows what else that they can do that.
I don't know about this one. I genuinely don't know about this one. I'm curious to know how they do it, obviously. But how is it practically possible that this thing starts to capture my voice? Okay, this thing starts to capture my voice, like legit. This thing starts to capture my voice. This thing, and and there's a difference in function between that and this thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about that one, but I don't know because I have found a lot of people who come over here and say shit, but I think that's more like reliable, but it's questionable. You know what I'm saying? Like it's questionable. Turning speakers into mics, like I understand James Bond can do anything, but I don't know. Somebody with technical knowledge can do it better than me in this one.
Are hitmen real? Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
At the National Security Council, there is a committee that meets every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock to draw up something called the kill list. They sit around a table and they make a list of all the people that they want to kill that week.
Makes
And
sense.
then they take it back to the CIA, which has a dedicated unit. I won't tell you the name, but it has a dedicated unit that takes receipt of the list. They say, okay, number one. They drive to the airport, they get on the plane, they go out to that country, they kill the person, they come back, and then they go to number two on the list
W.
every single week. Now, we can have a
You want to be in that shit. Like, come on now. This is the baddest shit alive, man. Going to countries, hitting down targets. This is real life James Bond shit. Damn, bro. Like this is actually so cool. Like they literally have John Wick department in them. What's John Wick's department's name? I forgot it. Sorry. But bro, this is real. Like obviously it has to be real. Um this is like, oh my god, this is so badass. To be in this department, you just want to be one time. It's so
conversation
good.
about whether that's right or whether it's wrong. It's certainly immoral.
Yeah.
It's illegal, but it's
Okay.
been tasked by the president.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, they will tell you there hasn't been another 9/11, has there? Maybe it's because we're out there killing people.
What kind of people would be on that list?
Oh, the most dangerous terrorists in the world, or at least people that the CIA deems to be the most dangerous terrorists in the world. How does the
So
CIA?
you have your own bias in that. So I mean, it's not possibly that you look best for the world peace. It's not possibly that you look best for the world peace or even like American peace. I think you look for what's better for America. And that just does not mean peacefully, but that means economically, in the trades, in geopolitical power. I think you think in every dimension for America. So he said that it must be immoral because they would technically, according to judge language, allegedly finish off some people who are rather innocent, but at a certain power level that they can influence a lot of things, and they don't want that influence to be out of their hands, so they do the deal. So it's not necessary that they look 110% for the best thing to do for the peace, best thing to do for avoiding the next 9/11, but they also do something that brings more revenue to the country, more economic strength to the country, more power to the nation. And yeah, so
Recruit spies in foreign countries. That cuts right to. How does the CIA recruit spies in
in
foreign
foreign
countries?
countries,
That cuts right to the very heart of what the CIA is. The CIA trains its officers in something called the asset acquisition cycle. It has four steps: spot, assess, develop, recruit. So let's say you're a brand new CIA officer overseas. You get out there and mingle and go to diplomatic cocktail parties or go anywhere where there might.
but this is so James Bond. Oh my god, bro. Ah, like he wears the clothes like James. What the fuck am I supposed to say? W, bro.
be target for you. You spot the target, you go up, hi, how are you?
Sorry.
I'm the new officer at the American Embassy. I'm covering political affairs or economic affairs or trade or whatever it is you're doing. You exchange business cards. That's spotting. Assessing is I say, so what do you do for a living? If you tell me that you do something that I'm operationally interested in, that's my assessment of you. Then I develop you. That's actually the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
That is us going to lunch and going to dinner, and I spend money on you because I have literally an unlimited budget to do so. And maybe we go on vacation together, and our wives are friends, and you mention offhandedly that you like to go fishing, let's say. So I charter a boat for $4,000 and I take you deep sea fishing because you could never afford to do it on your own. And then we become best friends. And because we're best friends, I say to you, hey, would you do me a favor? Yeah, I'm sorry to ask, but you know, the Russians have this new tank, and I know that you guys have access to the plans, and I would really appreciate it if you could just make me a copy of those plans. I know that sounds kind of funny, but it would help me a lot. So, hey, thanks, I appreciate it. I'll pick them up tonight. And then maybe I start giving you a little bit of money. And then finally, when it comes to the recruitment, I say, I haven't been totally honest with you. I'm actually a CIA officer, undercover. Are you okay with that? You're a great guy, and you're my best friend, and how about if I give you $5,000 a month, and you just answer my questions, right? That's cool, right? And you undoubtedly will say yes, and the rest is history.
Got to be a good actor to do that. Pull that off. Yeah.
And a sociopath. Do you ever fear for your life? Not now, but over the course of my career, I did several times. And I'll give you one example. There were 2 active assassination attempts against me. In one, I just got lucky. And unfortunately, my next door neighbor was killed instead. He was the British defense attaché in Athens, Brigadier General Stephen Saunders. I think about it every single day. In another, an enemy country sent one of its officers and a double agent to kill me, but we had advance warning that it was going to happen, and we were able to neutralize the threat, as they say in the movies. There was another experience that I had that troubled me deeply.
Oh my god, bro. The technical language for the immoral task has to be the best thing in the world. Technical language? Like, what was that? Asset acquisition protocol or something? More businessy terms to these things make it sounds more legit. It's really something which we have to understand. Anyways.
Pakistan at the time, and that troubled me deeply. I was serving in Pakistan at the time, and I was staying in a small guest house because it was safer than a big hotel. Sure enough, the big hotel was blown up and 45 people were killed while I was living there. But I left my guest house at a different time, like I did every day, and took a different route, like I did every day, to go to work. And I noticed that a man on a motorcycle wearing a red helmet was trying very hard to stay in my blind spot. I worked 12, 14 hours, whatever it was that day, and I left, and it was dark, and sure enough, there he was again. There's a definition of surveillance. It's multiple sightings at time and distance. So I've seen him multiple times
Hmm.
at different times of the day and at different places. I'm definitely under surveillance. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got in the car, drove a block, there he was again. So when I got to the office, I said to the security officer, I am under surveillance. I'm 100% sure that I'm under surveillance. He said, well, let's wait until the chief comes in. When the chief finally came in, I told him the story, and he said, well, you know what you have to do. I said, I know. I'm going to kill him if I see him this afternoon. I was worried about it all day, and all my coworkers came up to me that day to slap me on the back and say, don't worry, we're all going to be out there. We're going to have a whole security team. I said, I know, but I never killed anybody before, and I'm so worried that he's going to kill me before I get a clear shot at him. That afternoon, I had a meeting at a safe house that we shared with the local service. And on my way out at the end of the meeting, and I don't know why I did this, but I turned around and I said, "General, are you following me?" And he said, "No, why?" And I said, "Because I'm under surveillance, and if I see this guy again, I'm going to kill him." And I never saw him again. I learned later that several of their officers were sitting around and saying, "You know, that new American guy, he's such a nice guy. Nobody's that nice. I wonder if he's being nice just to try to make us drop our guard." And they decided to put the worst surveillance officer in their entire intelligence service on me. And if I hadn't said something that afternoon, he would be in the ground today. Does Trump have the UK and Europe's back? No, he doesn't. When we hear from journalists or political figures that Donald Trump doesn't like the Europeans, he doesn't like NATO, he doesn't like the European Union, we should take the man at his word. I don't think he does have Europe's back, or even the UK's back. When he says America first, he means America first, whatever that means. He has an idea in his own mind, but I don't think he cares one whit about Europe.
I don't even think he cares about America, to be honest. That's what people are saying, not me, bro. I'm not in America. That's what people are saying. Apparently, he's also doesn't care about America.
The most accurately, great question. I will tell.
Wait a minute, let's check some chat before we move ahead. Yep, let's check some chat. What the fuck am I saying? Let's check some chat. Okay. Is my live stream going good still? Question mark. It's not lagging as much as it was. So, nah, it's lagging. This is bad, you know? This is bad. Okay, we don't have any new chats. So, I think everything is good, so I don't mind it. I think your first stream is supposed to be 0 views. Like, it has to be 0 views. No questions asked. It has to be 0 views. Yeah, anyways.
Tell you that about Europe.
Okay. Which
Film or
films?
TV series portrays spy work the most accurately?
Mm-hmm.
Great question. I will tell you that at the CIA, we watch every single spy movie and spy series. All of us do. I'm proud to say that I have been the script advisor on The Bourne Ultimatum, on Kill the Messenger, on True Lies, and on Burn Notice. We love this kind of thing. Most of them have nothing whatsoever to do with the reality of the CIA, except a couple. In terms of TV, Homeland. Wow, they got it right. The only thing that they got wrong was if you go crazy, they send you to the hospital until you're not crazy anymore. In movies, there was a movie that came out in 2004 called The Recruit. The first half of the movie, where the lead character is going through training, 100% accurate, except for one minor difference. They didn't beat us in training. Everything else that he went through, whew, we went through it in spades. Most other movies, stinkers. And listen, just as a general rule, if somebody calls the CIA the company, turn it off. Is social media the biggest intelligence gathering tool today? It is absolutely one of them, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was always amazed when I was at the CIA at how targets, legitimate intelligence targets, would literally put their entire lives on LinkedIn and Facebook. Incredible. You don't even have to do any research. They lay it all out right there on the screen for you. So the answer is yes. If you value your privacy, if you don't want to pop up on the radar, you have to stay away from social media.
Makes sense.
9/11's impact on the world. You know, I was in the CIA's headquarters on the morning of 9/11. Well, we knew we were at war. And one
Did I just hear something? I mean, I know in which context he spoke, but I was at CIA headquarters and we knew. Oh my god. I know this is a shitty conspiracy theory going on for years, but Bo says I was at CIA headquarters and we knew we were at war. Damn.
One of the first thoughts that I had that morning was, does Osama bin Laden have any idea what he's done? Does he have any idea
Wait.
how many
So
people?
wait. So they already knew that it was Osama bin Laden? I don't know about the actual history, but like as soon as the attack happened, like 24 hours, they knew it was Osama bin Laden. I don't know. Wait. Oh, let me
American response was going to be. It was going to be merciless. The question is, what was 9/11's impact on the world? It was dramatic and lasting. We're almost 24 years after the 9/11 attacks, and we still can't go through airports with our shoes on. Untold trillions of dollars have been spent on counterterrorism and defense, and that is probably never going to change. Why are there so many wars in 2025? Well, do you want my real answer or do you want my diplomatic answer?
Real.
My real answer is the US has a defense budget that is bigger than the next 8 largest countries combined. After 9/11, the US entered into something like a permanent wartime economy.
That's the coolest flex, by the way. I hope they use that budget for good. Like something good.
Where if we didn't have a war to fight and to finance, we would actually go into recession. Now, we see ourselves as the world's
Wait, what?
wartime economy, where if US entered into something like a permanent wartime economy, where if we didn't have a war to fight and to finance, we would actually go into recession.
What? So you fight war or you create war, you go for war to make more money? Is that what layman language says about this?
Now, we see
Bruh.
ourselves as the world's peacekeepers. In many cases, we're not. We tend to be places where we're not wanted or welcome, and we end up forgetting to leave. There's an old joke inside the
Forgetting to
CIA
leave.
about Iran. Like, why would Iran put its country right in the middle of all of our military bases? There you have it. Why are there so many wars? It's because the U.S. has an activist foreign policy, and sometimes we make friends on the wrong side of issues. Can the CIA make someone disappear without a trace? You bet they can.
Yeah.
They do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In the immediate aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, the CIA created, for example, an archipelago of secret prisons, and they would just disappear people. We would capture people in Al Qaeda safe houses, for example, let's say in Pakistan or Afghanistan, and we would ship them off to these secret prisons. And when I say secret prisons, I mean in many cases they were so secret that even the presidents and prime ministers of the countries where the prisons were based didn't know that there were secret CIA prisons in their countries. So the CIA can make people disappear in that respect. They can kill people and just bury them, in some crazy foreign land and nobody would ever know. But if you're a CIA officer, or better yet, let's say you're a KGB officer and you want to defect, the CIA will give you a completely new identity, more money than you can ever count, and you and your family can live happily ever after, under the name John Smith, and nobody would be the wiser. How does
John Smith is the most American name.
The CIA will give you a bare didn't know that there were secret CIA prisons in their
Wait, KGB officer is he? What's his I?
countries. So the CIA can make people disappear in that respect. They can kill people and just bury them, in some crazy foreign land and nobody would ever know. But if you're a CIA officer,
Mm-hmm.
or better yet, let's say you're a KGB officer
Wait, KGB, right? What and who is a KGB officer? Excellent question. KGB officer is one of the most iconic and feared figures of the 20th century, a symbol of Cold War shadowy conflict. Here's a breakdown of what KGB was and who its officers were. KGB Komitet Kuzatastavroni Bezopasnosti Committee for State Security. Uh-huh. So technically you are like a Russian spy. Okay? You are like a Russian spy, makes sense. Why is the stream lagging so much today, bro? Why? Why? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Why is stream lagging so much today? Uh, I don't know. Either ways. So they can actually wait,
And
let
you
me.
want to defect. The CIA will give you a completely new ID officer, and you want to defect. The CIA will give you a completely new identity, more money than you can ever count, and you and your family can live happily ever after, under the name John Smith, and nobody would be the wiser. How does the USA track terrorist threats? They use something called the terrorist matrix. It's also called all source intelligence. Believe it or not, members of terrorist groups actually give press interviews in which they telegraph what they're going to do in their next attack. That's one way. The media, electronic surveillance. It could be intercepting cell phones, intercepting emails, intercepting encoded messages, even intercepting messages from game platforms. We have satellites that track these things. We have spies providing what's called HUMINT, short for human intelligence. So you use literally every source at your dispense and put this matrix together to try to disrupt that next attack. Can you be a spy and have a moral compass? What a great question that is. I'm going to say yes because I had a moral compass. It cost me my freedom. It cost me my job. It cost me my family. But it was worth it. There are some things that you are tasked to do as a CIA counterintelligence officer that you just have to say no to. There are some things that are so immoral, so unethical, in many cases so illegal that you just
I'll
should
do it.
not do it. What is the most controversial thing you've worked on or heard about? It has to be the torture program. I went to prison for 23 months for going public with the CIA's torture program. I went on ABC News in the United States in December of 2007, and I said three things. I said the CIA was torturing its prisoners. I said that torture was official U.S. government policy. And I said that the policy had been personally approved by the president himself. The FBI investigated me. They determined I had not committed a crime. Then Barack Obama became president. They secretly reopened the case against me. I was indicted and charged with 5 felonies, including 3 counts of espionage for giving this interview. Remember, espionage can be a death penalty charge. I had 3 of them. Well, I hadn't committed espionage, and finally, they dropped those charges. But I ended up taking a plea to a lesser charge just to make this thing go away. I had 5 kids at home. I had gone bankrupt from the legal expenses, and I was facing 45 years in prison. They offered me 23 months, and I took the deal. But I would do it again today if I had to, because somebody had to stand up and say that this was wrong. Shouldn't torture be legal if we are protecting American lives? Absolutely not. Not under any circumstances. Torture doesn't work. torture is illegal internationally, it is immoral, and you end up making a recruitment video essentially for your greatest enemies. For example, when it became apparent that the US was torturing military prisoners at Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq, and video was leaked showing those prisoners in orange jumpsuits, ISIS bought orange jumpsuits and made its kidnapping victims, who were mostly aid workers and American journalists, wear orange jumpsuits and then beheaded them on camera. They did that only because the US was torturing its prisoners. So torture does not work. Torture is illegal, it is immoral, it is unethical, and no one should be in the business of doing it.
Okay. Um, I think it makes sense. It makes sense that, yeah, torture should be illegal. It is illegal and it should not be done. But why? Come on, we need to ask questions. We need to ask questions that why should I not torture someone who has killed like 10,000 people? Why should I not set an example so that no one does it in future? Well, I know I love to be devil's advocate, by the way. I always love to cross question the thing which we are directly believing in, which is him right now. We are believing in him that he is saying and adheres to that, right to torture. The thing is not that torture is bad and this and that. I think the point is, if, for example, let's say you torture someone, um, and as he said, practically the video gets leaked out, or the thing which you are doing gets leaked out, you are going to face some serious troubles. My frames per second are dropping significantly. I don't know what's happened to my streaming quality today, but yeah, I don't know. Damn, my stream quality is bad as F today. Okay, so the point is to somehow avoid torture, get the information out. Now, the thing is, sometimes I think torture would work, but as he said, torture doesn't work. Now, torture is done not to usually be sadist, but torture is done in order to get the information out to prevent further collateral damage or anything kind of damages. But as he said, it doesn't work. Practically, also, to look at it, it should not work because these guys are trained as fuck for torture. So they know if some way or somehow they get captured, what they have to do next. How much information do they have to give? Where they have to act unknown? Where they have to act decent? Where they have to act rebellious? They know everything. So torture doesn't work. Okay. So I think I don't see it as a moral standpoint, the whether torture is bad or good. But the point is that because I don't look at it that what if I get tortured someday, it would be really bad. No, I don't look at it that way. I look at it is torture bad for the goal that I have? You know what I'm saying? I think manipulation, influence is the best way to get that information out of someone rather than torture. I think even if I leave torture for a second aside, and if the punishment is for the person to stay with me for next year, I think I can get more information out of him if he stays with me for next year rather than in the jail if he's tortured. So I think the critical information comes when a person connects with you more, a person believes in you more, a person understands you more, emotionally connects with you more. So a sociopath would not feel bad or would not feel something against torture, but instead they would find a more effective way to accomplish their achievements or accomplish their goals instead of torturing. Because torturing is definitely not the most effective way you can get the information or you can achieve your goals out. Well, if you are a sadist, if you feel good by torturing someone, or if you are a psychopath and you feel that dopamine hit when you see someone trembling for their life, then maybe, yeah, torture is a thing for you. But usually, torture, as far as covert operations and getting the information out is concerned, is not a great tool. Even if you want to make someone suffer or punish them for one thing or the other, torture isn't the best way. I think prolonging time and restricted access is the best punishment that you can give justifiably to a person who has committed a crime. So instead of killing a guy, instead of torturing a guy, I think keeping him locked up in a room with little to no activities for him to do, just giving him a food is a bigger punishment than torturing him and killing him off in a month or two. That's my point of view. Other than you can decide it. But yeah, I agree with him in this one, exactly in the way he says it. So yeah,
What's the most dangerous country in the world right now?
America,
Also a good question. There are several.
America and Russia, China.
I've been to all of them. I never got to go to the nice places. I went to 72 countries with the CIA, and almost all of them were just awful. Some of the most dangerous places in the world are Yemen, Somalia, Gaza.
Wait, what danger is he talking? Like dangerous as in normally dangerous, or dangerous as in like economically and geopolitically and culturally and each and every way? I think then it's more about US, Russia, China, Europe, UK majorly. But I mean, dangerous as in like if I go visit there and the chances of me coming out dead, I would choose South America for that. And southern Nigerian countries. Nigerian, no, not Nigerian. I think southern African countries and Middle Eastern underdeveloped countries. I think.
Afghanistan, parts of Pakistan. You have to sleep with one eye open. You just never know how bad things are going to get. And I'll give you an example. I went to Yemen 5 times, and every time I went, it
Let's see what Yemen looks
was worse
like.
than the previous time.
What Yemen looks like. Yemen, country in the Middle East. Holy, this country looks straight out of a terrorist chase, and one of those bike chases in movies. Um, yeah, it looks cracked. Yep, yep, yep. It looks messed up. It looks definitely messed up. I'm not gonna lie. It looks messed up.
The fifth and final time that I went, we were only allowed to stay at one hotel. The hotel had a 30-foot high wall around it to protect it from bomb blasts. I
Damn.
couldn't stay in any of the other hotels by then. Well, the day after I arrived, a group of South Korean diplomats arrived. And on the drive from the airport
Hmm.
to the hotel, they were ambushed and they were all killed, 6 of them. A couple of days later, a group of
Damn. South Korean guys. 안녕하세요. 감사합니다.
Korean intelligence officers arrived to investigate the murder of the 6 diplomats. And they were ambushed and they were murdered.
Hey, wait. Let me just repeat that
All
shit.
killed, 6 of them. Or of the event, we were only allowed to stay at one hotel. The hotel had a 30-foot high wall
wall
around it.
so that it could
protected
not
from
be
bomb
bombed.
blasts.
Okay.
You couldn't stay in any of the other hotels by then.
Uh-huh.
Well, the day after I arrived, a group of South Korean diplomats
Mm-hmm.
arrived. And on the drive from the airport to the hotel, they were ambushed and
35th
killed,
Wall Hotel.
6 of them. A couple of days later, a group of South Korean intelligence officers arrived to investigate the murder of the 6 diplomats. And they were ambushed and they were murdered.
Okay. Okay. W man, by the way. W man. What else should I say, bro? And how did Unk get saved? Like, how is Unk still managed to get out of that? Unk is James Bond. Think about South Korean people. They were like random side characters in a movie. Damn, this is worse. Matter of fact, like you could not even possibly do anything. You die by random people. This is like the worst death to me. Because I didn't know a person. He didn't know me. I don't know his name. He doesn't know my name. I don't know who he is, where he was born, where I was born. Matter of fact, we don't even speak the same fucking language. And I get killed by that guy. Like, come on, bro. You didn't even know me that much to kill me. You still kill me. So that's like the worst death for me. Like you don't know someone, comes randomly, booms you, done. That's like the worst.
And so the South Koreans just closed their embassy and went home. That's a pretty dangerous country.
Damn.
What do you make of U.S. foreign policy right now? A complete and utter disaster. I've never seen an administration that works so hard to offend and alienate our friends. Threatening to invade Canada? That's an act of war. Canada is not just a NATO country, but it's a Five Eyes country. Five Eyes being the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, the closest alliance in the entire world. And what, we're going to send an army to Canada and overthrow them? It doesn't make any sense. Even if you're joking, why would you even joke like that out loud? We don't coordinate with our European allies. We're threatening to invade Panama, to take the Panama Canal. We're threatening to invade and annex Greenland. It's craziness. So I'm not a big supporter of U.S. foreign policy right now. Does China actually pose a real risk?
I don't know anything about that.
I think no. And I'll tell you why. China simply does not have a history of expansionism. If you put aside Tibet, which the Chinese have always claimed to be a part of China, the Chinese have never invaded another country. They had a little border skirmish with the Vietnamese in the 1970s. They had a little border skirmish against India in the 1960s. But they
Indochina War, right?
Countries, and they have only one military base outside of China. It's in Djibouti, and believe it or not, they share it with the United States. It's the U.S. that sees China as the big threat, and Australia and the Philippines kind of see China as a threat. But the Chinese are perplexed as to why we so distrust them. Is there a threat from China to Taiwan? Of course there is. Taiwan is also seen by the Chinese as being a legitimate part of China, but there's no indication that the Chinese are preparing any offensive measures against Taiwan. I just don't see what the big threat is. Is the CIA or MI6 more elite? MI6 is an absolutely top-tier, first-rate service, but it's like comparing apples and oranges. At the CIA,
Oh my god. I didn't knew MI6 was real. I thought it was just, a James Bond type term. MI6. Agency? What else can I say? MI6. MI6 is commonly known MI6 Military Intelligence Section 6. Secret Intelligence Service. It's in London. MI6 is the Foreign Intelligence Service of United Kingdom, mainly tasked with the covert overseas collection, analysis of human intelligence for foreign nationals, support of its Five Eyes partners. SIS is one of the British intelligence agency and the chief of Secretive intelligence known as C, directly accountable for foreign secretary. Was it the section you get related to the adopting to the Second World War? Uh, Primary roles of SIS are counter-terrorism, counter-proliferation. What is that? Counter-proliferation refers to diplomatic intelligence and military efforts to combat the proliferation of weapons, including weapons of mass destruction such as chemical or nuclear weapons, long-range missiles, and certain conventional weapons. Measures to combat proliferate by analyzing and preventing. Okay, so they analyzed how much machine guns the other side has and to develop counter machines for that. So if you have information already, then you can go ahead and create a weapon for yourself. So, okay, counterterrorism is alternatively spelled counter terrorism and also known as anti-terrorism, relates to the practices, military tactics, techniques, strategies that government, law enforcement, businesses, and intelligence use to combat or eliminate terrorism. Good. Cybersecurity is a subdiscipline field of okay, blah blah blah. Um, Unlike its main sister agencies, the Security Service (MI5) and Government Headquarters Communication Headquarters (SIS) works exclusively with foreign intelligence gathering. The ISA allows it to carry out operations only against a person outside the British Island. Some SIS's actions since the 2000s have attracted significant controversy, such as its alleged complicity in the acts of torture, extraordinary retention. Wait, extraordinary rendition is a euphemistically named policy or state sponsored abduction in a foreign jurisdiction and transfer to a third state. Okay, so they kidnap someone, send them to a third world country or their prison or their headquarters, as a guy suggested. I think this is really cool. It involves your life, and it is a life in that situation in the end, but it's cool. You cannot avoid that shit. Let's just have a check and then uh, restart the video. Wait a minute. Um, let's just have a look at the chat. Um, Someone has written a lot of things. Wait, do you want an answer to your title? Because I got it. For humans to find meaning, we have to become the gods we thought of and start seeding our own life and watch them grow. Yemen is a beautiful place. Avoid the cities. It's amazing. Dear God, why do you have to pull the left eyebrow out so much? Left eyebrow? Like this one? Is it left? Or wait, this? Bro, it's natural, dog. I cannot help that shit. I cannot help that shit. That's natural for me. Like, come on now. I'm sorry. That's natural for me. Okay, Yemen might be beautiful, dog, but I ain't visiting that. Okay? I ain't visiting that. Um, for humans to find meaning, we have to become the gods we thought of and start seeding life on other worlds and watch them grow. Bullshit. 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 Huh. What else can I say, Rag? What else can I say? So, yeah, the guy really scared me for Yemen, by the way. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. So, yeah, MI6 is something. Definitely something. We are looking at it. And we have understood how dangerous and how James Bondy uh, our MI6 is. Okay, let's
Frankly,
start
we
with
used to
this.
say how much we wished we could be like MI6 because MI6 is small and it's lean, and when they decide to do something, by God, they go out and do it. At the CIA, when we decide to do something, we have 6 layers of bureaucracy that we have to go through to finally get permission.
Hmm.
And then the attorneys get involved, and then you have to send it to the president, and then he has to sign it or change it or reject it or do whatever it is he has to do. They don't have that kind of a problem at MI6. They just report directly to the prime minister and they can get things done. The CIA has a budget that absolutely dwarfs the MI6 budget. And we have our own, high level technology budget, satellites and spy planes and all kinds of crazy things. So they're both great services, but they're different at the same time. Are sleeper agents real? Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And the country that is the best at using sleeper agents is Russia. The United States doesn't have a program.
Okay. Give me some info on Russian sleeper agents. No, I don't want to ask for KGB and espionage, bro. Come on. What is a Russian sleeper agent? Okay, let's read this as like a fucking audiobook guy. Okay. A sleeper agent is a spy placed in a foreign country not to immediately gather intelligence but to live a long term normal life until activated. Their core mission is to blend in flawlessly, build a credible cover, and be ready to act. Sometimes years or maybe decades later. They have deepest cover operatives, distinct and legal spies, working under diplomatic immunity. I can do that shit. Come on now. Key characteristics are assumed identity. So, dead, double, or entirely synthetic. They live under a meticulously fabricated foreign identity with forged documents supporting their life story. So, broski, what you're trying to say is my mom can be a Russian white splash so that Yuji could use the black flash. By the way, we have to come back to our JJK episode right now. Okay, what is going on with JJK? We have to obviously discuss that because it's really cool and stuff. Okay, long term practice, sleep period can last 10 to 30 years. So, my general was when I heard about sleeper agents, I thought about sleeper cells, like those guys who just listen to you, those guys who just blindly listen to you or listen to the person they are meant to listen to. So, okay, limited contact. Communication with Moscow Center HQ is sparse using dead drops, coded messages, short, off grid. Okay, so this is like a decade long project, exactly like the movie that launched right now. So it's like a covert operation, goes on for 10, 15 years type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck is my stream not live? Excuse me? Okay, it's live. Okay, bro. That just got me feared out for a second right there. Give me a second, guys. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think the streams are going good. I think I might have disconnected for a second or two, but I think they're going good. Okay, let's start a video again. All right. Huh. Where was my scene? Yeah.
Of sleeper agents, and I'm frankly unaware of any Western intelligence service that has sleeper agents or that uses sleeper agents. The Russians have an army of sleeper agents. In fact, just in the last 2 or 3 years, a group of Russian sleeper agents in Northern Virginia, including one in my neighborhood, were disrupted and arrested. So, what a sleeper agent is somebody who is trained as an intelligence officer, who is then sent to the United States or the UK or Brazil or Paris or wherever, and told to just get a job, any job, and be a national of that country. And so you've got people who, in the case of what happened in Washington recently, um, one was an elementary school teacher, and one worked for an airline. Everybody thought they were Americans, and in fact, they're collecting classified information, mostly from U.S. defense contractors, and secretly transmitting it back to Russian intelligence in the evenings. They were disrupted and expelled from the United States. Is chief of disguise a real job? You bet it is. They have the most fun in the world. The day that I got hired, I was sitting with two other brand new officers, and I sat down. I said, "Hi, my name's John. It's nice to meet you both." They said, "What are you going to do here at the agency?" I said, "I'm going to be an intelligence officer. I have degrees in Middle Eastern studies. What are you guys going to do?" Me, "Oh, I just graduated from the Falls Church, Virginia Academy of Beauty." Academy of Beauty. She ended up becoming a master disguise maker. And the guy on my left was a cartoonist for his college newspaper. He drew a little cartoon that was very popular. He became a master forger. So it doesn't really matter what your background is. If you're good at it, there's a place for you at the CIA. And many of those places are working for the director of disguise. What made you decide to blow the whistle? It's very brave. Thank you. You know, at the CIA, we are trained to believe that everything in life is a shade of gray. And that is just simply not true. Some things are black and white, they're right or wrong. And the United States has laws that ban torture. We have the Federal Torture Act of 1946. We are not just signatories to the United Nations Convention Against Torture. We wrote the United Nations Convention Against Torture. In 1946, the United States executed Japanese soldiers who waterboarded American POWs. In 1968, an American soldier waterboarded a North Vietnamese prisoner and was given 20 years at hard labor in a military prison after being convicted of torture. The law never changed. So how is it then that from 2002 to 2005, torture was somehow magically legal? It wasn't legal. We were committing crimes against humanity. And so it was something that I having known the details, I couldn't sleep at night. And I believed, and in retrospect, I was right, that the American people had a right to know what their government was doing in their name. And I'm proud to say that because of my revelations, the McCain-Feinstein Amendment was passed into law, and it formally and permanently banned torture.
Have you investigated any of us before this shoot?
W video, by the way. W video. I ain't gonna lie. This is a great video to react to. It was a W video. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Wait, we can actually read the comments. It would be so CIA of CIA to instruct this guy to tell us what we think CIA is while doing something entirely different altogether. W comment. W. This is like 3 steps ahead. Eisenish thing. This guy is the most CIA, most spy looking spy ever. Could be straight out of Kingsman. You thought for a minute that him whistleblowing is just a role they want him to. Oh my god, bro. Uh, every answer is scary. The guy has the craziest dad lore. W. W. Um, I don't believe anything until government denies it. W's. Last question should be, should we trust you? W. W stories. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. These comments, man. Okay, moving on to next shit. Okay, now regarding the topic of today's video, essentially the topic which we are here to talk about. Let's talk about it for 5 to 10 minutes here and there. What is our meaning? What is that we search for when we say that we are searching for a meaning? Now, in practical reality in life, which one may suggest, actually, our goals are uh, the thing we are looking for. So, I think goals are something which is literally our passion or our anything that we are looking for. Okay, wait a minute. I'm seeing the stream and shit like that. So, yeah, in my opinion, the meaning practically which we are looking for is the thing which you can pursue as a job, the thing that you can do day to day, that thing that makes you money for you to survive, for you to thrive and live in the world of desires, a materialistic way of life. Now, do I deny the materialistic way of life? Hell no. I think it's the most practical way of living life. Actually, yes, because if you want to live in the society which is created by humans, then you must adapt to the rules that were created by humans, the norms that humans adapted to, accept them, adapt to them, and behave like them. Simple. And way more better way to do anything in life is to think very materialistic about the situation. See, when you think about anything much more materialistically, I think you start to think about it more in a way of realism rather than idealism or rather than fantasy nature. So, let's dive into detail. Philosophically, your meaning can be very different. Philosophically, your meaning is why do you want to live? Why do you want to think about what your meaning is? And philosophically, it's a more deeper question rooted into why do you want life to go in a certain way. There has to be a reasoning why you want life to go in a certain way, and the question is, why do you want that reasoning? And once you figure out why you want that reasoning, what should be that reasoning why you live? Why you live your day-to-day life? What's the reason of your existence? What's the reason of your death? What's the reason of you being you? What's the reason of your consciousness? What's the reason that you still exist in a million possibilities where you could not have existed? These are the existential questions which form something which we call the need of meaning. Because if there is a meaning, if there's a reasoning, that solves all of these existential questions. And existential questions are something which people might say that are not realistic or not practical at all, but are actually the questions you want to avoid as a human for you to thrive. Let me give you an example. If you keep constantly questioning that why am I here? What's the reason of me being here? You go down an existential dread where you realize that there's nothing to life. There is no existential meaning to life. There was no reason for you to be here. There's no reason for you to go out of here. There's no reason why your existence even matters to the tiniest in this vastness of universe. So you are negligible. No one's going to remember you. In the vastness of universe, no matter how good a human being is, no matter you might be Ronaldo, nobody cares about it on a moon, on some different solar system, on some other species level, which is out of our solar system. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about it beyond Earth. At the same time, the question arises is why do you still exist if you don't matter? That's the point. There's no reasoning. So if you insert a fake meaning over here, you don't question about these things. These questions are something which can dread upon 60 years of your life, and you can waste your life on this shit. Okay, you can keep asking questions, you can keep trying to figure out answers, we'll never get one. It's inevitable, you will never get an answer. So what Albert Camus says is try to survive in this juggernaut of feelings which you have regarding meaning. So at one side of the things I need a meaning, on the other side of things I want to understand why do I need a meaning. Okay, so there is this universe who says that my existence is negligible, who says that my existence is pretty much doesn't matter at all, and it's like I have zero importance in this universe. On the other hand, I want a reason for my existence, so I'm negligible, I'm unimportant, but at the same time I want to know the reason why I still exist. Now, what Albert Camus says is to fall into any one of these realms, to one, avoid the practical reality of life and to just go for these questions, and also to find a wrong answer to these questions is both wrong. Is both where you fuck up the actual point of philosophy, the actual point of asking questions. And it is to stay in this juggernaut of feeling. So, your human nature wants a reason for your existence. Universe says that your existence doesn't matter. And this is the feeling that you have to be rebellious against. So, you know that there is a meaning I want. You know that there is no meaning for my life, and survive this feeling and go against it. So, in practicality, this would sound like I know there's no point of marrying someone. I know that other than biology, there's no point of having kids, but I still would have them. I still know that working a job and moving for a passion, clearing exams, aspiring for a job is useless, but I'll still do it. Because either way, this universe is boring. So let me be rebellious and do the shit I want to do. You know? So that's, I think, the point of Albert Camus is that don't create a fake meaning. And at the same time, don't fall into these questions about me trying to find meaning. So don't go completely nihilistic and don't go to the existentialism side where you create a fake meaning for your life. That's what Nietzsche suggested. Now, I'm not saying Nietzsche is right or wrong, or I'm not saying Albert Camus is right. But what I'm saying is ask questions. Going back to my point, ask more questions. When it comes to living your basic as life, my life requires $200. If I make $200, I don't give a fuck about what's next. So for you, it can be completely different. For me, it's like if let's say I have $1,000 and let's say I want to spend $200 to survive, to shit in a good place, to live with a roof, to afford electricity bills, to afford food, to survive. I need $200. Let's say I make $1,000. What do I do of the rest $800? Well, many people would advise you to invest. Some people would go and give in to the materialistic needs they have. So I wanted this purse, I wanted these clothes, I wanted these car. People go into that. I think of my $200 is the only thing I need. Once I have my $200, I don't care if $800 goes into buying a purse, $800 is given to a charity, $800 goes on to me getting a new car, or $800 goes on to buying someone a new car and shooting a video out. I don't care. I care about my $200, which is for my survival, so that I can survive, I can exist, and I can do shit around. I can be rebellious. If I somehow hinder my existence, then the issue comes to if I don't exist, if I don't live well, if I don't get food, how am I going to be rebellious and stay in this juggernaut of feelings where there is no meaning to life and my find of meaning? How do I survive within that? Without food, without water, without roof, without shitting at a good place, without eating good food. How do I survive? So for me, since the point as I have fallen more into Albert Camus, shit has become more of an I don't care attitude. So I don't care if you buy Bugattis. I don't care if you give a lot money to charity. I don't care either ways. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, what Albert Camus says is to develop that I don't care attitude towards life. See, in the bigger picture, in the vastness of universe, obviously nobody cares if you crack that exam or not. But if you crack it, you'll show a rebellious attitude towards the nature of what human was supposed to be. Human had this developed consciousness, this developed pack of emotions that all of a sudden humans started to question the bigger things in life. So it's weird. I know it's weird, but what can we say? You know what I'm saying? Like, yep. I know it's weird, but that's what life is supposed to look like. Um, yeah. Um, I'm just going through chat. Nothing much over here. By the way, this was a double stream. I wanted to get a lot more out in this stream, but I don't think I would be able to continue anymore. We'll also do a stream today at nighttime, morning time, wherever you are. We'll do a stream in the next 7 to 8 hours, maybe 9 to 10 hours. Maybe we'll do another one. Okay. Until then, take care of yourself. Um, don't ask a lot of questions. I promise you. Asking questions is only done bad to me. Okay.